this matter should be brought from...
In a recent exclusive telephone interview, President Ford confirmed his involvement in the investigation.
I undoubtedly wrote Chairman Mendel Rivers of the Committee on Armed Services that such an investigation be taken.
Congress heard testimony from a number of witnesses. Former Marine Corps Major Donald Kehoe asserted that there was far more to UFOs than swamp gas.
In fact, the Air Force at one time had a top-secret estimate that these things were interplanetary spaceships.
To date, we have over 10,000 cases at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, of which 646 of these remain unidentified.
The Air Force has been accused from time to time of hiding information about UFO. What do you have to say to that, Colonel Taffy?
Well, these charges are absolutely untrue.
The Air Force continued to maintain that it was hiding nothing.
And we've always honored accredited media when they wanted to investigate a given specific sighting.
There's nothing to hide.
There's nothing to hide at all.
Now, this is not an attack on the Air Force spokesman or the project spokesman. They are simply following orders to explain away all UFO sightings as quickly as possible when they become public and deny that UFOs really exist.
So it was pressure from Congress that led to the study. It ended up not being an open study. It was a few days long. It ended up by being a project given to university that lasted 18 months.
In an effort to maintain a neutral investigation, it was assigned to the University of Colorado. The university gathered a team of 11 eminent scientists. They were to analyze and make public their conclusions of the most compelling UFO cases. As reported in a 1968 feature article published by Look magazine, the university study was doomed from the beginning. The project leader, Dr. Edward Condon, appeared to be biased from the start. In February of 1967, he stated, "My attitude right now is that there's nothing to it." He added, "But I'm not supposed to reach a conclusion for another year." The Look article goes on to describe how 2 scientists were fired over a leaked memo written by one of the project's managers. This memo dictated what the project's conclusions were to be before the project even started. The leaked memo read, "The trick would be, I think, to describe the project so that to the public it would appear a totally objective study, but to the scientific community would present the image of a group of non-believers trying their best to be objective, but having an almost zero expectation of finding a saucer." When Representative J. Edward Roosh read the leaked memo and all the controversy published by Look magazine, he urged Congress to take over the investigation because he challenged the objectivity of the study. His plea was ignored. Left unchecked, the project chairman announced the conclusions to the anxiously waiting press. Dr. Condon stated that nothing has come from the study of UFOs that has added to scientific knowledge.
It is not a fair and accurate summary of the body of the report, which a summary should be.
3 decades later, Dr. Peter Sturrock, an astrophysicist from Stanford University, takes a close look at some of the case studies never mentioned in Condon's summary.
The Condon report is really a complex document. If you're looking for what they thought were wild goose chases, you'll find those. If you're looking to see whether there were any intriguing cases that were really challenges to the staff, you'll find them. And if you want to see whether the staff thought anything was what they call, quotes, a real UFO, you'll find that too. There are 2 radiovisual cases analyzed by MacDonald and Thayer.
In conclusion, although conventional or natural explanations certainly cannot be ruled out, the probability of such seems low in this case, and the probability that at least one genuine UFO was involved appears to be fairly high. Another case summary was that this must remain as one of the most puzzling radar cases on record, and no conclusion is possible at this time.
And there are two photographic cases analyzed by William Hartmann, who he thought were possible UFOs.
This is one of the few UFO reports in which all factors investigated, geometric, psychological, and physical, appear to be consistent with the assertion that an extraordinary flying object, silvery, metallic, disc-shaped, tens of meters in diameter, and evidently artificial, flew within sight of two witnesses.
But they do not feature at all in Condon's summary. The part that most people read, the part that the press referred to, were the few pages of recommendations and about one chapter, a short chapter of summary that were written entirely by Condon.
While the panel of scientists conducted an objective investigation as requested by Congress, the project leader appeared to have ignored the data and asserted that there was nothing to the UFO phenomena. On December 18, 1969, the New York Times quoted Dr. Condon saying, "It was a bunch of damn nonsense and that he was sorry that he ever got involved with such foolishness." Condon's 30-year-old conclusions are still being used today as a benchmark to prevent further official scientific investigation.
One of the problems with so-called UFO research by debunkers is they ask the wrong question. Their question is, what are UFOs? Really what they're saying is, are all UFOs alien spacecraft? And the answer, of course, is no. The proper question is, are any?
It appears that many people in power are being kept out of the loop regarding the UFO phenomenon. At the same time, covert operations being conducted by the military-industrial complex seem to have escaped government supervision.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
In his farewell address to the nation, President Eisenhower cautioned the public about the relationship between the U.S. military and the industrial sector which supplies the military with weaponry and equipment. Eisenhower felt that if gone unchecked, the military-industrial complex would become too powerful.
The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes.
But I think he was telling us the military-industrial complex will stick you in the back if you are not totally vigilant. And I think he felt like he had not been vigilant. I think he felt like he trusted too many people.
Brigadier General Stephen Lovkin served under President Eisenhower in the White House Army Signaling Agency. He recalls Eisenhower's concern with the military-industrial complex.
He realized that he was losing control. He realized that the phenomenon of whatever it was that we were faced with was not going to be in the best hands, and those were the, as far as I can remember, that was the expression that was used. It's not going to be in the best hands.
Almost as great as the mystery surrounding the origin of UFOs is the wall of denial encountered even by the most powerful citizens in the land. In October of 1969, President Jimmy Carter, who was then governor of Georgia, had a UFO sighting. He filed a report with the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomena. In the report, he described a sharply outlined, self-luminous object about the size of the moon. It maneuvered silently in front of 10 witnesses. At a recent book tour, we asked President Jimmy Carter about his sighting.
What happened to
the UFO?
I don't really know what happened to it. I saw one, but I don't know what, it just disappeared.
Well, this is the first. The president...
During Jimmy Carter's presidential campaign, he promised to make public what the government knew about UFOs. In an effort to fulfill this promise, President Carter's scientific advisor, Frank Press, wrote a letter requesting that NASA lead the investigations into the UFO phenomena.